Good day, everybody. This is the Ecclesiarch here, back to you with some more Horse Heresy Legions. But today, this is not a new Warlord video. That's going to be coming later because I've been playing some Perch Rabble and I have been enjoying myself a lot. But today, the video is quite different. Now, I'm not the only person, as you guys probably know, that has been irritated by the latest Death Guard release, but this is not just a video where I'm specifically doing a rant on this specific case. This is a general video where I would like to discuss what I think is a very major problem that is going on with both Everguild games and what I think needs to be done in order to solve this problem. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video in the first place is quite simple. That's because I love both games. It's not a secret to you guys. I've even tried dropping the Horse Heresy Legions at some point, but well, I ended up coming back because I just love both games a lot. I like the Warhammer setting, it's like one of my favorite things. I love the card games, and I started making content because of these games, right? So yeah, it holds a very special place in my heart, you could say it like that. So it really does matter to me when something shitty is going on in the game, basically. And this has been going on for quite a while already, but I think it's already, I don't know, reaching just crazy levels. So anyway, not to talk about the same thing too much, without further ado, let's get into it. Now, this is, as I said, not specifically about one single case, but I guess we cannot go around mentioning this specific case as well. And this case is, of course, the latest Battle Pass Warlord, which is the Death Guard Warlord, the Dreadnought, right? This Serob Kargul, Lord Contemptor. Now, what is the problem with Lord Contemptor here? Is it the problem that he's too strong? Yes, but that's not the main problem. The main problem is two things. Number one is that he's obnoxiously powerful, and number two is that he's hidden behind a paid battle pass, right? Now, at first moment, somebody might think, but well, you know, that's a normal standard for the game, to have a strong thing come out like on release, and then, you know, after some time it's getting nerfed. Yeah, I know. There's nothing wrong with making a new release strong, maybe a tad better than other things, right? However, there's a couple of other issues that come together with that. First of all, issue number one, this warlord is not just strong, it is obnoxiously powerful. It is overpowered to a degree where you might just auto-surrender against it if you're not playing a very specific set of warlords. So it's not only that it's overpowered, but it's obnoxious. And this is not the first case where we had something like this, neither in Legions or Warpforge. Like, you remember the Lotharasarin release, probably, right? Yes, you do. You remember the Predator Annihilator from Warpforge, right? Of course you do. And then there's the Rhino from the Sisters of Battle. Of course you do, because that was quite recent when you had to deal with that for ages. Now, all of these cases are not just things that are strong. It's things that are obnoxious to a point where it's unplayable against it. And on top of that, you get two other issues. First, as I said, it's hidden behind a paid pass, right? Well, in Warforged, it's less of a problem because everybody gets to play the raid and you can technically unlock it, even though other people who are willing to pay money for it are gonna unlock it earlier, right? Which, again, is not a problem when somebody can unlock content faster than you, but it's a problem when somebody can unlock this content and then they can use this to annihilate the ladder and completely mess it up. Because, as you guys know, these new things do not tend to drop only at the beginning of the season. They tend to drop either in the middle or towards the last week, which means when a warlord like this comes out at the last week, somebody can just buy it and just mess up the ladder completely. Now, you guys, if you've been watching me, know that I do not play these games competitively. You never see me compete. You never see me trying to get like top 50 like crazy. So I'm never it doesn't really personally affect me that much because it's not messing up my personal goals, let's say it like that. But I know that it's messing it up for a lot of people. I've already heard from a lot of people how frustrating it was to have the complete ranking being messed up because of this. And even if I don't compete for a top 50, it's not cool. For example, in Warpforge, when you take a look and somebody's sitting on 4,000 rank because in the first 2 weeks of the season, they were abusing something that was extremely overpowered before the patch dropped. For example, the Junith incident, when even though Junith was expected to be nerfed, and she got nerfed, obviously, before those nerfs arrived, for like 1.5 weeks, people were still abusing this shit, and they still annihilated the ranking because of it, right? Now, that is a problem, because technically you're just turning your game into a pay-to-win. It's not that you... it's not that, for example, it's impossible to get things without paying, especially in Warpforge, because, well, it's much easier to get stuff there. But if somebody can pay for something, not only to get it faster, but also to just get it to easily secure like a top ranking, then it's messing up the game. Now imagine how many people get frustrated because, well, they worked to get that ranking, and suddenly you drop something like this and somebody can just smash the keyboard with their face and get the same ranking. Now, how is that understandable or fair? That's not good business. I think that's a very bad decision. Now, why I think that is also a bad decision: when you're dropping something like this and you're letting it go live, there's only two reasons that can happen. Number one is that they were not play tested, right? Because even if you play tested and you're not, let's say, a professional player, I think anybody can understand when a warlord is overpowered as hell or a card is overpowered as hell, right? Like, you don't really need any brain cells to make this Death Guard warlord work. All you gotta do is drop one cost and just buff it up, and yeah, you win the game, right? The same thing comes with Junith, for example, in Warpforge is another great example. You just, of course, there are different. I'm not saying that there is not a difference between a good player and a bad player when it comes to overpowered warlords. Of course, the good player is going to pilot that better, but at the same time, you still have that issue of the fact that somebody can just face roll with that up in the ranking. So that is a big issue. As I said, either it has not been play tested, because I cannot imagine this being released and being said that, okay, you know, this is fine when it's being play tested, or it has been play tested, but it has been released so that people will buy it. Because, yeah, that's easy. Release a strong thing and people are gonna buy it. Yeah, sure, that's great. But when you're releasing something that is breaking the game just so that people buy it, it's a problem. Then it's no longer good. So either is that it's not being playtested enough, or it has been deliberately done like this, right? So I'm not pointing any fingers. I'm not saying that it's either specifically, but I'm just saying that logically these are the two reasons it can happen. Or maybe it was playtested and somebody just really thought that this was a good idea, which I believe would be very, very stupid. So I don't see that happening. Now, how can you deal when you have deal with the situation when it looks like this? Well, there is a very simple thing. You need a hotfix. I've been mentioning this a million times already, that you need to start hotfixing these games in order to avoid a problem like this. Yeah, you see that the stupid tank is annihilating the ladder. Stop leaving that tank for fucking 1 month. Instead, what you can do is you can hotfix it. Don't nerf it into the ground. Make it a little bit weaker. Just try it. Maybe take off a little bit of stats. Maybe lower the damage a little bit. What's stopping you from hotfixing it a little bit after maybe 1 week? 1 week is understandable. You can bear with something being strong for 1 week. But like this? No. For a month? No. That just is not acceptable. And it's also a problem when this thing is released in the middle of the season, because in that situation that 1 week already matters. Because if it's the last week of the climb and everybody's like sweating over climbing the rank and you suddenly drop something like this, then yeah, you're gonna have very bad results. Now, for that to be fixed, there's only two things that need to be done. Number one, you need to introduce more active hotfixes, because Lotara Sarin was hotfixed, but I think she was hotfixed after 2 weeks, which is still not fast enough. A very good hotfix that they did in Warpforge, however, was Jane Czar, which was fixed very soon after release, which I think was a great move from Everguild side, and I'm very happy about that, and thank you to them for doing that. And now, what's stopping them from doing it for all the other things? People paid money for Jane Czar too, didn't they? Well, yeah, they did. I also bought the premium rate for that. I also paid money for that, but I think that it was good that they nerfed it. They didn't make it unplayable. They just made it more fair and more easy to deal with. And the second thing that they need to do is they need to stop releasing these things mid-season. So that people don't end up abusing them to destroy the rankings. This should come out at the end of the season, which means when a fresh season is starting, so that people can test it out and then it can be used throughout the month. And you can also see what is going on, so that then you can hotfix it when you see that it's a problem. In order for that, well, we need a very simple thing: communication. So yes, currently there is better communication with Everguild than it used to be, because they're more way more active in answering certain emails and issues that we send to them. But this is not enough, as we can see, because I mean, you can see that Discord is being annihilated with people just complaining about stuff, and then suddenly there is no reaction to that. And by the way, that part I can kind of understand. You know why I can kind of understand that? I can kind of understand that because I know that it's very difficult to get feedback from a Discord where, like, maybe if you have like 20 people, 10 are just swearing and they're just ranting. I can understand that, but that's maybe why we need something like a community manager who can actually gather feedback and actually communicate it to the Everguild team, so that they can actually do something about this. Well, in any case, I'm not going to talk too much about this. What I'm going to say is that making things, just to wrap it up, making things stronger on release is not bad. I would say it's even encouraged. Once again, it's good for business, and you know, you really don't want the new faction to be trash. Obviously, that kind of ruins the fun. But when you make things bloated and overpowered, and make that bloated and overpowered thing stick around for 1 month or even more, that is going to absolutely annihilate the game, and especially when it is hidden behind a paywall of a battle pass, because in Horus Heresy Legions there's no wild cards and there's no other way of getting these cards other than buying the battle pass or just being lucky enough to roll it from a chest. So yeah, and there's no duplicate protection, by the way, so you might be getting 11 Jophiles or 8 Coraxes instead of the thing that you really want. So yes, that is my opinion on the subject, guys. I think that this is an issue that Everguild needs to address, and the way to address it, as I said, again, I'm going to repeat myself, is quite simple. More active hotfixes, more active communication with the community, and not releasing things like this a week before the season ends. That is just my opinion, and I hope it is understandable, and if you guys agree or disagree, please say it in the comments. Ecclesiarca.